I'm Mehta, Editor-in-Chief of Breaking Defense. I'm here with Lee Ferran, who's our Managing Editor. We're going to break down day 2 of the AUSA conference here in Washington. Lee, let's start with one of the big themes, one of the big buzzwords of the show, I would say, particularly from the Army Chief of Staff. It's called transformation and contact. You actually have a good way of summing this up we talked about.
Well, actually, I'm going to steal a phrase from a British official who was talking about it today. It's essentially getting a minimum viable product into the hands of warfighters out in the field as soon as possible, and then iterate on it, correct things that break, and if it works, scale it up. The problem is that comes with quite a bit of risk. Obviously, you're putting stuff in the field that's relatively untested. So it's really, it shows how the Army is really focusing on trying to get tech into the hands of warfighters as quickly as possible, and hopefully not make a ton of mistakes along the way. But the other big news out of the conference today was howitzers. What's the news in howitzers today?
Yeah, so the Army's been trying for a while to get howitzers, basically longer, faster, better, stronger. They had a program called URCA, which they eventually canceled because it wasn't quite getting the results that they needed. What they've decided to do now is to move forward with the idea of, let's see what the commercial industry has now, what the companies are available to do, and test with them. So they gave out a series of small contracts to 5 companies to basically say, okay, go ahead, play with what you got, here's some money, experiment, and then we're going to go to your home countries in some cases, we're going to go to your home headquarters, and we're going to see what you guys can do. And the hope there is, instead of having to develop a whole new URCA system on their own, the way the Army was talking about, they'll be able to get the Army, or to be able to go to industry and see what's available, hopefully get these things better more quickly.
And I'm sure the Army officials aren't too upset about having to travel to European countries.
I'm sure they'll suffer if they have to.
I mean, it's rough. But it reminds me, our Tim Martin talked to the CEO of Nammo, which is an ammo producer out of Norway. He had interesting comments about the race, he called it an industrial war with Russia about producing ammunition. And he said that Western countries shouldn't try to match Russia 1-to-1. They never win that race. What they should do instead is make better shells, longer range, more precise, essentially quality over quantity.
Yeah, which is interesting because there's a big debate right now, right? The question of capacity versus capability, and what we've seen in Ukraine is to actually put more emphasis on classic 155 shells, things that aren't that advanced. It's an interesting debate that I think is playing out in a couple of conversations that we've been having here.
It's dumb mass or smart precision, basically.
Right. And is there some mix in between, which is usually probably the answer, but you know, that'll play out over time. So let's talk about day 3 of the show. It's usually a quieter day. People start winding down by about 3 o'clock. You can see the trucks rolling out the back of the convention center here. But there's a little bit of some interesting stuff. It looks like digital modernization is going to be a theme that we're going to see.
Digital transformation, digital modernization, digital innovation, everything digital tomorrow. There's software, there's AI panels, a ton of tech talk tomorrow.
Yeah, so we'll certainly have a lot of coverage of that, of course. That and everything else on breakingdefense.com. Make sure to check often. Please click often. We're doing all this hard work here, guys. We want you to read it. We'll also be doing another roundup video at the end of the day tomorrow to kind of wrap everything up, go kind of top level thoughts from the end of the show. Until then, I'm Mehta, that's Lee Ferran. Thanks for watching.